Everybody, welcome to another monthly Power Forum. Today, we have a very compact schedule. We have three amazing leaders and organizations come on board today. Make that three organizations and four amazing leaders to come on board and speak to our community. And we're excited about the future because every month that goes forward is a month that you continue to build up your organization, but also train your employees. Stay on board because at the very end, I want to make sure that you guys are leveraging the marketplace the right way. We do have four active deals, three that need to be done ASAP that are part of the P2P initiative that are actually paid engagements. So we want to make sure you guys are part of that. What I'm going to do is make sure that you guys update that. At the very end, Danielle and I will close off. We will go to the marketplace, show you some updates. Danielle will say some things, and then we'll close it off. But at this moment, I'd like to have Eric come on board. He's been a leader in the community for a long time. He's been an advocate for BCPA. He's been an advocate for IMCPA. He's been an advocate for the partners that we have on board, including our great relationship we have with Microsoft. So Eric's going to introduce all the speakers, and then we're going to turn it over to Microsoft, get us started, go from there, if that makes sense with everybody. And what I would like to also say is that as we move forward, if you are missing information, please make sure you guys get access to the newsletter and review that. If not, send an email to Emily at bcpalliance.com and she'll make sure she'll get you guys at it. Eric, I'm going to turn it over to you, and everybody, please turn on your cameras. You know how this works. Turn on your cameras, make sure you guys are active. And what we're going to start doing is we're going to start giving away prizes for the next series of Power Forums for those who participate and those who turn on their cameras. We're not a shy community, but for some reason, last month, everybody's been turning off their cameras. So please turn them on, guys. And if you have any questions, put them into the chat window. We will leave time for Q&A for each speaker at the very end for 5 minutes, and then we'll turn it off at the very end after that. Per Erwin says it's impossible. Emily, can you make sure that non-speakers have the ability to turn on their cameras as well, please?
Okay.
And Eric, I'll turn it over to you.
Cool. Danny mentioned, and as you may already know, WIT Network, BCPA, and the International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners, we're all trying to work together. We always have, but we're trying to even take it to the next level. So my name is Eric Franson. I am the sponsor chair for the International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners. Some examples of how we three organizations work together really are represented today with our sponsor. So Lenovo Microsoft CSP team, not ThinkPads. You're going to hear me say that a couple of times. They have sponsored the three organizations. They were just at the WIT Network celebration of International Women's Day. They're sponsoring this today. And they are really here to help you grow your Copilot practice. And they also sponsored an IAMCP recently. So for those of you who are members of our multiple organizations that work together. So let's make no mistake about this. Erwin and his team from Microsoft are asking us, the SMB, SMENC delivery partners, to take a hold of this channel. They are asking us to build robust Copilot practices. It is a once in a lifetime opportunity. The partners that are sponsoring this today and are today are here, and they've stepped up to the plate to help you. So they can help you fill any gaps to achieve this once in a lifetime opportunity in marketing, sales, and delivery. You're going to hear from the Lenovo Microsoft CSP team, not the ThinkPad team. Meredith Archer spends the majority of her week helping partners like you increase their modern workplace license business, their Dynamics business, and even filling service delivery gaps. And you're going to hear from Meredith. Kenesha Barnes will share her real life experience working with a Microsoft partner that had a vertical expertise but lacked the resources to expand that market. Kenesha helped them grow their business by double digits. Rob Fegan from Ryze Partners will share with you what you need to do to successfully work with Microsoft to co-sell Copilot deals. And finally, we are lucky enough to have one of the busiest and most influential people in the channel, and I would argue in the world, considering Microsoft's place in this world. And I don't even know if he drinks Dos Equis, but Mr. Erwin Visser, the general manager of the CSP program for the Americas. And he's going to share, if he were in your shoes, some of the programs that his team puts together for Q4 of Microsoft that we're heading into in a matter of days, what he would focus on. All right. You don't need to hear from me anymore. I would like to turn it over to Erwin.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Eric. That's an amazing introduction. And I, 2 years I live in Florida in Tampa. So if you're Floridians, we start drinking at 12 o'clock, including Dos Equis. So let me share screen here. Just make sure I have the right file. Yeah, I'm here.
And then, Erwin, while you're doing that, I'll just make note that we are going to have a program that Lenovo has sponsored, and it's sales and marketing. And we are going to ask the members to self-nominate. We're going to ask them to write into us, and when we go over the program that we're nominating partners for, we're going to ask you to make a case as to why you want that program. All right.
Awesome. Thanks. Hey, and Eric, maybe as a follow-up, I would love also to connect with the Lenovo people here and see how we can help them. So very interested in what work that they're doing here. So thank you for that. Hey, first of all, excited to be in front of this group of partners. I know the impact and the work that you are doing in the US and Americas market is pretty incredible. So I'm gonna go pretty fast because I have a bunch of things to go through. I have 15 minutes, but if you have any follow-up questions, hesitate to ping me, or also happy to come back for another session. Let me jump in, and I'm gonna go pretty quickly here because I think most of you are aware, but there is a significant in the market that is kind of grown over the last years around AI, and I think you can always throw a bunch of statistics. I thought the one in the middle here is maybe the most interesting, is that 79% of SMBs plan to implement agents in the next 12 to 18 months, and 24% of SMBs already using them. And so it's clearly there's an opportunity driven by business leaders in SMB, in corporate, in enterprise, around understanding what AI does and what that can mean for their business. The interesting aspect of this drive of opportunity of AI and the interest in the market is that it also kind of like completely further the interest and the demand for security, both cybersecurity as well as data compliance. And I attended RSA the last 2 days, or Monday and Tuesday, had the big security event in San Francisco. Maybe some of you were there, but it's all about AI and agents and securing them, both from an external threat perspective as well as the data compliance. It's a hot topic in the market. This also supported by this slide. And I, by the way, I can't give you all the slides that I'm presenting, so I'll send the deck later. But you ask customers, what is the biggest challenge facing AI or agentic AI solutions? They really come down to governance and compliance, 51%. You see data and security management, 14%. And then there's other areas of the business. So compliance, security is a top concern for business leaders if they think about AI. So Microsoft's strategy and our goal, and how we want to work with you in the market, is that we like to empower every user with a secure Copilot and transform every business with an agent. And maybe it should not be an agent, but agents. And so the Copilot, we often talk about it, is the UI for AI, but it's not. It's a starting point. It's clearly drives a lot of productivity wins, but it's also an opportunity then to start really thinking about AI transformation at customers through agents, through connecting data sources, all the opportunities that come after that. So if we think about what it means for a customer is becoming frontier, we think there's clearly about with Copilot, then agents and security as being a super important aspect of it's you want to really be successful with agents. You have to make sure you have your security foundational work done, but then also human ambition. It's the human ambition and opportunity to leverage this technology and differentiate yourself in the marketplace. And that's always existed. We don't believe that it's going to get away with AI. So for partners, it's the moment is now, especially I would say for SMB, but I'm also going to talk about segment enterprise in a second, is that we have in Ignite last year, we announced new SKUs, SMB, Copilot Business. I hopefully everybody's aware on this call. We have new bundles And we have promos that we've first of all announced for Q3, so your Q1, but now also extended to Q2 till the end of June. And I'm just going to go through them quickly because I still run into partners that haven't really internalized it. But as when you look at the SKUs that we announced in I would say, the last 6 months, and we announced an SMB specific version of Copilot Business. So the requirement for Copilot Business is Copilot Business is the same functionality as M365 Copilot, but is kind of like the price point is set for an SMB market, and it requires an underlying BSKU as for eligibility. And Microsoft Purview Suite and Defender Suite as to updates on Business Premium. These are the technologies that were more available for enterprise and are available for SMB customers as an upsell of Business Premium for those customers that require advanced security with the vendor or require like compliance and data protection through the Purview Suite. And then we have the suite itself. We also did is a few months ago is we announced new bundles as a convenience purchase. So instead of having to buy, say, Business Standard plus Copilot Business, there's no one SKU that has them both. And as part of that introduction, we created, you see the list price here. The list price is kind of the standard price. If you add those two products together, the promo price is where it's getting interested. And it's we announced these to March 30, and we now also announced them to June 30 this year, where we have these promo prices in market that makes it significant, I would say, maybe cost effective for customers to jump into or have upsell their current underlying SKU into Business Premium, but also additional to standardize on Copilot Business. So we're seeing a lot of traction in the around it. The one area where I think we have an opportunity is that we had a lot of our CSP agreements we realized are on auto renewal. And so they get automatically renewed by the partner, the customer. So nobody kind of looks into it. And we see a lot of situations where a customer that is eligible for Copilot Business is still buying M365 Copilot. So the customer is buying $12 too much. And we think of that, hey, as a partner, clearly we are all commercial organizations. We're always looking for growth and upsell. And so the conversation that I've seen very well with customers is like, hey, you're not going to talk about, you don't want it as being immediately a cost saving for the customer. Could be a cost saving, but you also want to think about, hey, if for the envelope that the customer is willing to invest, can we include additional technologies that helps their security foundation, maybe their data protection, maybe extend the Copilot that they have to multiple users. So it's a great conversation as a partner to kind of extend the security and AI footprint of that customer, and then also have additional services, managed services, professional services that you can based on that addition. So it's a great opportunity, a conversation starter to really help the customer accelerate on their AI journey. So I'm gonna transition now to a set of other announcements that we did only now 2 weeks ago. That is Microsoft 365 E7 or ME7, how we call it internally. And it's we kind of positioned this as a frontier suite. So this is clearly not at this moment for the under 300 SMB size. So we think initially this is 300 seats above into the corporate space, into larger SMB customers, as well as clearly enterprise customers. So this SKU combines a number of things. It includes ME5 plus then it includes M365 Copilot and Agent 365. And I'm going to spend a little bit more time on Agent 365 because I think there's a lot of it. But the Entra suite is I think is for customers because it kind of enables trust access, AI agent driven work. So it includes Entra for it and also next level identity governance. So we see customers that are really strong on their security and identity, that they start to apply some of those features from the Entra suite. And again, Agent 365. So let me go there. So Agent 365, you can purchase it in the future through E7, but you can also buy it as a separate product. So what is Agent 365? It's kind of the control for agents. The easiest way to explain Agent 365 is if you have what Intune is for devices and endpoints, what Entra is for users, think about Agent 365 for agents. And so in a world where agents are going to support people become a digital workforce, are gonna have their own, they need to be governed. So you have to be able to observe them, you have to be able to govern them, you have to be able to secure them. Because we see a lot of organizations, even within Microsoft, there's a ton of agents are getting created, and clearly that there's all kind of like concerns about it. And just as we are used to having a process and governance on devices and any endpoints, we are used to governance for people that have access. Another an entity that needs access, but also needs access restrictions, needs to be governed and managed, and to be observed what they're doing. Make sure that they are not doing anything that is outside the scope of that agent's purpose. So that's kind of 365. It's interesting enough that Agent 365 is kind of the first product in its class in the market. So we're entering here as Microsoft kind of a new portfolio or a new functionality, just new for Microsoft, but there's not a lot of like competing products in the market that deliver this technology at this scale. And so we're getting a great feedback from both analysts in the market, from partners. The product is available May 1st, but from our early users, our early adopters, they gave us a really interesting feedback. There's a high interest and I think a high requirement in them to have something as Agent 365. So how do you the price point here is that let me build it. Is that the for ME7? You probably have seen it. It's like a huge amount of money, but you have to think about that. It includes like 4 components that adding up cost 117 if you would call them buy them separate as a customer. Agent 365, M3 Copilot, Entra Suite, and M365 E5. So it's kind of like we call it, as we mentioned, the frontier suite. It's for those organizations that really like early in the curve, or early, I would say, innovators, early adapters in AI that want to really differentiate themselves in the market by AI adoption. This is probably the opportunity for them to standardize on a platform that really allows them to manage and govern and secure them in an appropriate way. So I'm closing. I know I only had like I had 15 minutes with quick slide, and you may have seen before, but had the how we think about as a partner. Because what does it mean for you as a partner? How can you apply this and become frontier yourself and help your customers transform? We think that the 3 things we kind of advise partners. First is that I know a lot of you have managed services as well as professional services. Clearly, there's an opportunity to start differentiating yourself with AI, and not only how you execute how you to drive efficiencies in your own organization for managed services, but also how can you build managed services that help your customer transform. I see a lot of MSPs piloting AI, working with AI internally. I think the opportunity for a lot of partners to extend this now to the customer and maybe start with having like a data management compliance service that helps the customers already like getting to a better foundation and readiness for AI and agents. The second is unify security. As again, I think a lot of you have in the security business probably have a managed security service for threat protection and identity. I think the opportunity is to extend with data. And I would say most partners have threat protection. Identity is a smaller group, and then data compliance is an even smaller group. So this is a great opportunity to extend your portfolio and have a holistic, unified security offer. And then like start your transformation with your customers with Copilot Business and agents. And the opportunity chat is a great opportunity, freemium of Microsoft that everybody can use. See that a lot of like people that really want to start getting to the next level, they often jump to Copilot or Copilot Business because of the incremental opportunities that delivers. And in agents, we talked about it. It's the next frontier of helping your customers transform and become productive. So that was kind of my quick talk. Eric, did I stay in the 3 minutes or?
You did great.
Yeah. You still have 2 minutes more, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, if any questions, I'm happy to take a question now. I also know we have some time pressure. You can also reach out to me, erwin.visser@microsoft.com.
Yeah, guys, I want to encourage the community, reach out. It's not often that we can get Erwin's time. He's very busy running around speaking to lots of communities, lots of groups. But what Microsoft has done now is created an opportunity for the SMB partners to really go and monetize and really go after this space. And there's a lot of opportunities we can do. There's a lot of ways that we can add revenue. I know a lot of times we ask ourselves, hey, if I can just get more clients, I can grow my business better. Well, take the existing clients you have now and go at them with a new AI strategy. And you can expand with the clients you have now with a strategy, with licensing, and with consulting services. And this is an additional revenue stream that you can have that no one else has in your space. So I want to encourage you to do that. If you need help, reach out to us. And then we also want to thank Microsoft, but we thank Lenovo because they actually, with Eric, paid for the sponsorship to create the training program that we created with Copilot to go to market with. It'll teach you all about Copilot, how to have conversation about Copilot, how to have discussions with your clients about Copilot, and then also at the end of the day, create a practice that you can deploy with your clients for an additional revenue stream. This is all going to be about nuggets for you. And in this summer, when we kick off this conference with IMCP and with Women in Technology, you can't walk out the conference without getting certified. You can't walk out the conference without actually having a new MSA that you can tell to your clients. We're turning this community into a community where you can actually make money today and not just talk about it, but make money today. So a good call to action, number one, reach out to Erwin, connect with him on LinkedIn. He's one of the few executives at Microsoft. When you send him a LinkedIn connection, he will actually accept it. So I'm going to encourage you guys today, send him a LinkedIn connection. He will accept it. And even though he's busy, he will get back with you. So Erwin, thank you for your time. We can't wait to have you back on again because I believe what you're sharing with us is an opportunity for us to make even more money. We need some more insight from you in order to make sure we can put that into practice today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Danny. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Erwin.
Looking forward to engage future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Erwin.
Eric, can you go and introduce our next speakers, please?
Absolutely. So Rob is on next. Hello, Rob. How are you? So Rob is going to help us with how you can work with Microsoft more effectively. And what Rob really does at Ryze Partners is helps you to grow your practice, helps you to work with Microsoft, but also he takes the stress out of it. So, we think of trying to co-sell and, we get stressed out because they're the Microsoft field inside people. And, you only have one shot to impress them, to introduce you to clients, and you bring them into your clients. And Rob is going to take the stress out of the whole process. So take it away, Rob.
It really is about co-selling with confidence. This is a passionate topic for me. I'm a former owner of a Microsoft partner, and really understanding how to work with Microsoft and how to co-sell with Microsoft has been a huge a part of my success in that role. And I want to share that with you today. So with that, we'll jump in, and I'm going to keep this to about 10 minutes. And that next 10 minutes is really going to be not about working harder. It's more about understanding where the gaps exist in our ability to co-sell with Microsoft and what those partners who have closed that gap are doing differently. So that's what we're going to focus on for the next few minutes. And with that, I'm going to ask a question here, which is, do any of these things sound familiar to you when you're thinking about working with Microsoft? So the first one I hear all the time is we need better visibility within Microsoft sellers, the seller community. And the next thing I hear is that we need the right introductions to Microsoft people. And both of those feel absolutely logical. They feel actionable. And for me, both of those things that I hear, they point to the same root cause. People first think a relationship problem, a presence problem. But for me, here's the thing, neither one is exactly wrong. But neither one is really the real underlying problem. It's not the thing that's holding you back. And as long as you're solving for the wrong problem, that gap that you have or you're experiencing today is going to continue to exist. You're just not going to have a different experience if you're hoping for that introduction, or you're hoping that next introduction is the one that changes the game for you. It's not a visibility problem. This is a lesson that I learned early on, and I don't think it'll be a surprise for anyone on this call that you go through and you'll start to build a relationship. You'll start to feel like you've got some traction, and then June 30th, July 1st rolls around and Microsoft shuffles the deck on you. The people that you were getting to know they are there anymore. They've got a different set of accounts, or they're moved to a different solution area. And it really is incredibly frustrating when that happens, if you're relying on that one or two or three relationships. And for me, the people who get pulled into deals consistently are not the ones that focus on building the best relationships. And don't get me wrong, relationships are very important. I encourage you to build them, but they can't be the strategy. The relationship can't be the strategy. The ones that get pulled in, they're the ones that Microsoft can categorize out of the gate. Microsoft knows where they fit in, where you as a partner fit in. They know when to use you. They that you reduce their risk. Instead of adding to it, you're their risk. And that's, again, a visibility thing. It's not the relationships. Again, like, you still should focus on them. The real problem that I see most partners suffer from is a system problem. And here's the distinction in what that is. If the visibility is your problem, you just call more people, you do some more marketing, you do some more reach out, you get in front of some more people at offices, you just work your contacts. But again, if the problem is that you're not running a system, neither of those things are going to move the needle for the long term. And most I meet are trying to build their businesses for the long term. And relationship strategy is a very risky strategy. So I consider the system problem the problem we're solving. For me, that is the thing that I focus on, and that we at Ryze focus on, is identifying that there's a system you need to implement. And once you implement that system, that's the thing that's going to take you to the next level. So let's talk more about that and what that is. So before I get into the system, I want to pause and talk about what Microsoft sellers actually need from us. And to do that, you need to step back and think about, okay, a Microsoft seller, they don't have a lot of time to interpret our value as a partner. They're moving fast. They're moving from meeting to meeting. They're under a ton of quota pressure. Every week, they're doing sales calls with their management teams. They really don't have the time to go deep on the value we bring as a partner. So their default is to choose the option that requires the least explanation. And that's something, again, it was a very hard lesson for me to learn. I started running my own business back in 2015. And I thought, okay, I've been in the Microsoft ecosystem a long time. I've got a bunch of relationships. I tried to leverage those, but being a brand new company, an unknown entity in terms of the business, I hadn't proven out to Microsoft that I'm not a low risk option. It was something that they knew right away what I was doing. They didn't know where to put me. I was, looking at them saying, hey, you know me, I've done everything. I've done Teams, I've done SharePoint, I've done this, I've done that. And they couldn't put me into a category. And they had to figure out where I was going to fit in. And that really held us back for a few years, where we weren't clear and we weren't concise, and we didn't help the sellers build sort of understanding of who we were quickly and cleanly. So it took them, it was a big lesson learned early on in my career of building that business. But did figure out is the partners who were getting pulled in made these three things true before the seller even reached out, before they talked to us, before they got on the phone with us, is that the seller had to know exactly when to use us. They had to know where we were best at what we did. And what I mean by that is that they could trust, or there was no risk involved in bringing us in. They understood, we did it, and it was very clear to them. And then the final thing is that we showed up the same way every time. And this one is the one that is a killer, I find, for a lot of partners, is that everything is a unique experience and everything is different every time. Microsoft doesn't get into a rhythm or an understanding of where to use you, how to use you, and know that they're going to have they are going to have the same experience, and their customer is going to have the same experience. And that's why building these motions is so important. And when I talk about co-selling with confidence, that confidence comes from having a motion that you can rinse and repeat, that the Microsoft seller knows where to plug in, where to plug that motion in, who to plug it in with. So, you've got something of value, you've got strong delivery, your customers get a great experience, but how do you codify that for Microsoft? And how do you get that in front of them so that they hear the words security, they automatically know, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to Rob. Or if they hear Copilot, they're like, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to reach out and call Per, because Per, we know he's going to deliver on Copilot every time, the same way, the same experience. And that is the thing that we want to build. That's the system that everyone on this call should focus on building, is a system that they can rinse and repeat with the Microsoft field team. And it doesn't need to be overly complicated. It doesn't need to be this huge undertaking. It does require a lot of energy and effort to build that clarity. I say that creating something simple and streamlined is not easy, but when you do it and you can articulate it in a way that makes sense for the Microsoft field teams, so that they put these three questions on the screen immediately, they know exactly when to use you. They know that when they use you, there is no risk, and that more importantly, they understand that you're going to show up and there's going to be that they're going to have, that their customer's going to have, and that you're going to deliver on every time. And I understand that there's not one sort of model that fits everything, but at its core, if your system is built, or your co-sell motion is built for that end result, whatever it might be, selling security, selling Copilot, delivering on Fabric, it doesn't matter. It crosses all of the solution designations, and the of co-selling is going to be critical for every one of us. It's going to be something that we have to understand going forward. So to help with that, walk through a little bit more on the system side. So when these three things are true, you change the dynamic completely for both Microsoft and, I would argue, for your customer as you're moving forward. The goal is that you stop chasing deals and you start getting pulled into them. That's what we all want. That's what we all hope for. That's what we're all driving towards. And I imagine a lot of you feel like the pipeline is sporadic coming from Microsoft. You might see some deals, and then all of a sudden they sort of either here, or you don't see anything for a while. And I would argue that we all need to start acting as if we're managed partners. Microsoft has collapsed the managed partners program. So very few of us are going to have an opportunity to get managed, but to operate like a managed partner is not unachievable. You can absolutely operate in a way that the managed partner community does, and Microsoft works with that managed partner community. We can take the lessons learned and the things that Microsoft does with those managed partners and implement them into your business today, so that You can co-sell with that level of confidence that the managed partner community would have or has. And you don't think of it as a posture, or not a relationship skill. You're not showing up with a different attitude. It's really having that system installed that Microsoft sellers we're going to recognize. They will start to rely on, and they will start to pull you into deals as long as they don't have to explain why or figure out why. And that's the goal of creating the system, is build that repeatable co-sell motion that you can get in front of sellers. You can co-sell with that high level of confidence, going in knowing that you can rinse and repeat it with any seller, regardless of Microsoft making changes each year or each July 1st. Your motion is going to survive those changes. The relationship might not. Microsoft might do a riff, they might do some shuffling of those people, but the motion will stay intact. And that's the thing that I would encourage you all to focus on. As I wrap up, the one thing I'd like to offer everybody is a 30-minute working session where we talk about your personal situation. What are you doing today to build this co-sell motion? What are the pieces you have? What are the pieces you're missing, so that you can walk through, or we can walk through together, what you're doing, where you're stuck, and with that, hopefully give you a path forward to build or start to build that system. So with that, Danny, I will hand it back to you all. And thank you very much for the time. The QR code is there. Feel free to scan it and book some time on my calendar.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it. And what I want people to get out of it are two things right now. One is specialized, verticalized, productized. Don't do everything. Don't wear all the hats. That's the reason why we have a P2P platform. If you get an opportunity that's really huge, it's outside of just one specialization, we want you to leverage the rest of the community. And we want you to do that. And the good news about it is we're expanding to every one of the other two communities, which will be to 25,000 total members and projects and opportunities that you guys can work together on. Second thing is a system. If you don't have a system, you're bound to not be able to maintain the same success you've had in the past. And one of the things that Ryze Partners has is created a ROS, which is what they call the Ryze operating system. So I encourage everybody, whatever you do in life, it doesn't matter what it is. If you have a system, a method that you do every single day, you're going to be great. We had an admiral speak at University of Texas a long time ago, and you guys know that called "Make Your Bed," right? No matter how bad your day is or whatever happens, at least when you come home at night, you have a bed made. And as a former veteran myself in the military, we used to have to make our bed so tight that the drill sergeants and our commanders can bounce a quarter off the bed. So I know it sounds funny, but that's the way we took everything in life. Having the same system during battles and wartime kept us safe. It kept us secure. I don't know why, but for some reason mentally, it just kept us safe and secure. And thank goodness I'm too old now. They want me back in the military if needed. But just to let you guys know, it was a system that made us feel safe and secure. And as a business leader yourself, you need to have a system so you can feel secure that your business is growing at the right rate. So take the time, reach out to Sandy, reach out to Rob. When you reach out to them, work with them, they'll help you understand how to work with Microsoft. And of course, we have other members here that you can work with too in the community that you can work with. So thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Thank you, Sandy. Eric, I'll turn it over to you to introduce our last series of speakers, please.
Thank you very much. Archer, she has for Lenovo, the Microsoft CSP team, and not the ThinkPad team. And Meredith also worked for SHI as well too. So she brings an incredible amount of knowledge about the Microsoft ecosystem. And as I mentioned earlier, she really spends her time with partners, helping them to grow their businesses. And she's going to share a little bit about what brings to the table for you as partners to help you grow. And I will turn it over to you, Meredith.
Good afternoon, and thank you guys for having me. I'm Meredith, and I'm a Microsoft CSP sales executive here at Lenovo. And today I'm going to talk about how Lenovo shows up for our CSP resellers, not just as a distributor, but as a trusted partner focused on strategy and growth. So our goal is to help you scale your Microsoft practice more efficiently, more profitably, and with fewer operational headaches. So let's get right into it. Let's start with why partners choose Lenovo to be their CSP distributor. So what I think sets us apart from the big name disties that you're familiar with in the CSP space is the hands-on support that you're going to get from our team. we really don't treat our resellers like numbers. We treat you guys as a partner, and we do everything we can to support you in growing your CSP business, because let's be honest, when you win, we win. And that kind of support can look a little different from partner to partner. Of course, every partner is a little different. So for example, we have one partner that was trying to win a big whale of an Azure deal or an Azure client that they do millions of dollars a year, but it's direct with Microsoft. And this partner didn't have the skill set or the bandwidth to support that technical migration, which, sidebar, isn't that dumb that it even requires a migration. But even so, we connected that partner and their end customer with our service delivery partner who handles these migrations day in and day out. And then we also provided funding to help offset that cost of the professional services needed for the migration, which ultimately helped them win the business and even save the customer some money. So it was like a win-win-win all around. Then we had another partner that came to us with a pretty messy Dynamics 365 scenario for one of their new customers. Their existing licensing was about to renew. It was not even sort of compliant. So we got on a call with our Microsoft certified trainer. His name is Christos, and he's a licensing genius. And Christos was able to get in there, understand the use case, and provide the compliant licensing approach. But then he was also able to save them from the upcoming price increase on Business Central by standing up a new subscription for one license right before their renewal to lock in that legacy price. And then when the renewal came around, they just swapped over to that subscription, increase the license counts. So little things like that. We love to get strategic with you guys and help your customers. And then I guess the last thing I want to touch on this slide is our CSP support. It is global because we're an indirect CSP provider in 34 countries. I only cover partners in the US, but each geography has their own CSP team within Lenovo. So if you need to get a tenant stood up in Ireland for a customer, Lenovo can help you with that. CSP support is, of course, 24/7 by 365, completely free. We have level 1 and level 2 engineers in-house, and then the level 3 tickets, of course, will open a case with Microsoft and they'll get assigned to a level 3 Microsoft badged engineer. And Lenovo does pay a handsome amount of money annually for premier support for partners. So any level 3 tickets are going to have their own special queue, so they'll get resolved a little more quickly than if they were in the general queue. Am I not sharing my slides?
Yeah, Meredith, it got stuck. Could you try and reshare again? And then if not,
yeah, let me.
Yeah. And then, if Kenesha, you have slides in Meredith. So if she's stuck, maybe like before you start, you can show her one, like slide number 1 that has like the grid of everything you guys do.
I think if you reshare, it'll work. I
How
had
is
the
it?
same
Okay.
problem.
How is it now? You guys see?
All right, try number. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, y'all. That was the slide I was on. But yeah, I mean, standard, our support, our trainers, no upfront. So there's no revenue commitment. To get signed up, there's no cost. Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to talk about the Lenovo Cloud Marketplace, or LCM. This is our fabulous CSP portal, which you'll use to manage your customer CSP subscriptions. It's got a two-way sync to Microsoft Partner Center, so you can provision new licenses within minutes, create a new tenant directly in the portal if you need. And then most importantly, I think, is the LCM is going to know all of the additional Microsoft promotions. Like, I think there's still a 15% discount for net new Copilot subscriptions of a certain quantity. And so when you go to order, the portal is going to tell you, hey, this purchase is eligible for this promotion. Here's your new cost. And then it's also going to tell you the MSRP. So when you do quotes and orders, you'll know what discount you're getting customer, if any, as well as your margin. And when we onboard you into the portal and configure it for you, brand it with your logo. And if you have any customers that, for whatever reason, are demanding a self-service portal, there is an option for that. Of course, the customer profiles have limited visibility and permissions, so they're not going to be able to see your cost. They're not going to be able to see any of your other customers, but they will be able to increase their license counts. And then from a data perspective, there's a ton of different reporting on the portal, revenue trends, product analysis, forecasting. I think the most popular one is the Azure usage report, which is exactly what it sounds like, a detailed breakdown of your customer's Azure bill that helps you make sense of where and how that money is actually being spent. And then there's integration capabilities via APIs if you need to connect into other systems. And finally, I want to highlight our FinOps for Workplace offering. This is really just a cool for a licensing optimization tool paired with consulting hours from our subject matter experts to help you make sense of the data. Our partners love this offering because it really helps them move from a license management role into more of a strategic advisory role. So how it works, it starts out as a free health check. We'll provide a link that the global admin of the tenant will use to enable the tool. You'll let it sit for about 2 weeks where it's going to crawl through the tenant and collect data on who's using what. And then it'll spit out a report that provides an estimate of the cost savings that are available if you were to right size the environment, which is great because then you know if it's worth it or not to pay for the full version that unlocks the user data. And this is also a cool tool because it works for customers that are on an enterprise agreement. So they don't have to be on CSP. It's just, that's awesome. And then a real world example from this year, we ran this tool in a customer's environment, huge global customer. And the report found that they had over 30,000 zombie licenses. So they'd been paying for these licenses, but they weren't even assigned to anyone. Like, that's an insane number. But you can imagine how much of a no-brainer it was for them to pull the trigger on the full insights. And those insights were also tell them if there's users that are over licensed based on their usage. So if they have an E5 license, that they'd really be better suited to an E3 or an E1. It'll tell you who those people are and what the best license fit for them would be. On the Copilot side of things, there's also a section in the full report that ranks which users would benefit the most from a Copilot license based on which apps they use the most. So someone that uses Excel is going to rank a lot higher on that list because the ROI is just so much higher for them versus a user that just uses Outlook. So I love that functionality of the tool because that's each one. Every customer is like, the Copilot licenses are expensive. It's a lot to pull that trigger in the first place, and they want to make sure that it's, getting the best return on their investment. So with this tool, you'll be able to drive smarter renewal conversations, and it's going to help you stay relevant with your customers. And if they don't already consider you a strategic advisor on Microsoft, they definitely will after this. And that, my friends, is the end of my spiel. Thanks for listening. I'd love to connect with you guys on LinkedIn. I'll link my profile in the chat, and then I'll also put my email in if you want to get set up as a CSP partner with us. I can help you with that. So now I'm going to turn it over to Kenesha from our Azure team.
Thank you, Meredith. And if you're sharing, you could just keep your slide up. I only have one slide
awesome.
Here. So Hi, everyone. I'm Kenesha Barnes, and I'm the Business Development Manager here at Lenovo, focusing on the Azure business. The case study that I'm going to be talking about is around one of our actually very strategic partners for Microsoft. Now, this example is a testament to how Lenovo is dedicated to not only partner with our resellers in the Microsoft space, but to help them to accelerate. Of course, if our partners are winning, then we're winning. So Avasoft is a perfect example of that. And, they took advantage of pretty much the full scope of everything that Lenovo has to offer when it comes to helping them grow and accelerate their business. Avasoft is an MSP and ISV, and their focus is really around helping businesses create customized solutions designed around real customers' outcome. So they already had a strong foundation, having worked with clients across multiple verticals, including transportation vertical. They had tons of expertise in that area and was able to deliver in this vertical and saw a real opportunity to really grow and accelerate with the solutions and offerings. But of course, they needed more than just expertise. they needed the support and resources of a bigger ecosystem, especially when it comes to the Microsoft products and services that's at the core of the solutions that they are building. So this is where Lenovo came into place, and our partnership with Avasoft came about, not only as a strategic Microsoft partner to them, also as a subject matter expert across all things Microsoft. So Lenovo supported Avasoft across key areas that kind of took the focus away from them when it came to, building things to help them manage their Microsoft business and so forth, and really put the focus back on attracting new end customers and accelerating their business. So some of these things that they had access to through Lenovo included access to our tools like our Lenovo Cloud Marketplace. This allowed them to easily source and manage their Microsoft subscriptions across all of their customers. We also did a lot of work around integration with them, specifically around integration with the Azure Marketplace, where they had a lot of their solutions already listed on the Microsoft side, where they were able to do direct integration into our Lenovo Cloud Marketplace. We offer them flexible credit terms, competitive to help them win opportunities with their end customers, and also financial support to support their go-to-market strategy. We did quite a bit of joint marketing efforts with them, such as in-person events, as well as telemarketing campaigns. So on the Lenovo side, we have a telemarketing team that they leverage to do outbound campaigns. Of course, it is their messaging and their call to action. However, it's Lenovo resources that they are leveraging to, to attract new end customers. So we ran a couple rounds of telemarketing campaigns for them. And of course, any leads that came from that went directly to their sales team for follow-up and close. We had access to dedicated sales and licensing expert, which was a huge benefit to them because it took off a lot of that responsibility of training their resources to become Microsoft licensing expert, where they just leverage the resources on the Lenovo side. I think Meredith, mentioned Christos, who is a wealth of Microsoft knowledge. So with all of the support that we offered to Avasoft, again, they were really put in a place to be more strategic with the way that they were spending their time as a business and how their sales team was spending their time. And as a result, Avasoft and Lenovo grew vertically focused practice by over 800% and continue to grow. This is only a relationship that Lenovo is very proud of. We're very proud of the success that Avasoft had seen. And they were actually recognized last year as one of the finalists, America's Partner of the Year on the Microsoft side. So that's obviously recognition, and we definitely look forward to continue working with Avasoft and having more success in the future. So that's just an example of how Lenovo can help you in your business and your journey. And if you have any kind of questions or want to have a further conversation around the resources that Lenovo has on our end that you can take advantage of to help you accelerate in the Microsoft space, definitely reach out to me or Meredith, and we can take it from there. So that's pretty much it for me. Yep, thank you.
And if you can put that back up also. And I know we're like out of time. And by the way, that's my personal fault. I tried to jam so much information into this. But I will tell you, even though we didn't get to the Q&A, everybody has done a great job of Q&Aing on the Teams. So we have all of the questions and everything, that we're going to answer, and we appreciate everybody's time. And we'll get this out. This is the offer that we're going to nominate partners for. But what we really want you to do is we want you to self-nominate, and we want to help you with your Copilot practice. So this includes sales, marketing. It includes the sales simulator from App Meetup. And Danny, I'll throw it over to you for the the -minute last final words.
Thanks, Eric. We really want to do our job, transform this. I would like to have a member of this community be on one of these slides in the future. Well, then why don't we have one of our business names on there to show how much we grew? 800%. That sounds amazing. That sounds fantastic. And if you guys feel like you're stuck, remember that we have sponsors, we have communities, leverage the team. We've been some free support from Lenovo. Well, look, you don't have to know everything about licensing. You don't have to know everything about the CSP model. You don't have to know everything about how to transition your customers. If you find an opportunity that's an agreement as well, leverage this team, allow them to help you. That's what they're here for. That's what they're going to be working with you on. The fact that Erwin was shared with you today, some stuff from Microsoft, we actually have a good tool that Meredith is going to be testing it out. And once she gives a thumbs up, we'll turn it over to the community. These are simulations that we've created to understand how to work with Lenovo, also to train you on Copilot. Because the last thing you want to do is have a customer ask you a question about it and you don't know where to begin. So we've created these simulations on behalf of our sponsorships. I mean, Eric brought the sponsors in. We want you guys to take advantage. Eric's brought the opportunity in as well to help grow you guys for lead generation opportunities and services. And then finally, the partnership that Rob and Sandy had brought over from IMCP, we're bringing it over to our community as well. So what we said, if you want success, you want to create that daily habit. We call it the daily system that you have. This is called the Ryze operating system. If you don't have a system in place, it's going to be hard to be successful. And you got to know who to work with, who to talk to, and who to speak with in the community. Finally, before we turn it over to the community members just to be able to talk and catch up, I want to encourage you guys to go and log into the marketplace. Now, we created 4 new opportunities this month of March that are all paid opportunities for P2P. And these are great opportunities for you guys. The P2P opportunity in North Dallas that I'm working on is actually further out in a place called Tyler, Texas, and Jacksonville, those 2 sites. It's a 3-day engagement with an acquisition that I'm working on with the client that I'm mentoring, coaching, and that's turning into a 110 user per month managed services opportunity. Now, it's a great chance to show what you can do for the migration. You do a good job. We can turn that over to an opportunity. I don't know anybody in here who turned down a 110 user MSP opportunity. Is there anyone here that would turn that down? Anybody? I'm not an MSP anymore, so I can't use it. I do it. I'm no longer, I sold my practice. All I can do is consult the partners I'm working with and bring other MSPs into that deal, into that business. In fact, I brought a Frank Valvieso into an opportunity in Ohio, a 25 user opportunity. We just got funded by the state, the lieutenant governor for AI initiative. Is going to turn from 25 users to 5,000 users over 5 years. I think Frank is very excited about that opportunity as a managed service provider. He didn't do any work. I just asked, hey, do you specialize in nonprofit? He said yes. And he actually did it. I introduced him to a partner. He signed the contract, and actually they rolled out last month. So I want to be encouraged by this because we're expanding it to 25,000 users into the 3 communities between IMCP, WIT, and BCPA. And eventually we have an opportunity with the Dynamics community that expanded to 150,000 global users. So think about this, the opportunity for you to work together, the opportunity to have for P2P conversations. I want everyone to take advantage of it. I want to thank Eric for bringing our speakers on. I know it's been compacted. I want to thank Erwin for giving us some gold, because if you apply that today in your practice, you should be able to increase your monthly recurring revenue without having to get new clients, because you're leveraging the Copilot conversation today. Turn yourself into an AI expert. Turn yourself into that today, because I guarantee if you're not doing it, your customer is going to find someone else to do it, and pretty soon you might lose that customer. Number 2, take advantage of having a system. Rob and Sandy has a discount that you guys can provide. And by working with them, they're also going to be sponsoring BCPA as well. So we want to thank them because they're giving to our community, and we're very grateful for that. I'm grateful also for the fact that we have the Lenovo team on, because they want to build this out for our community, give us opportunities to work with them. But at the same time, they've also graciously funded leadership opportunities, what I call lead gen opportunities, and they funded the AI simulator opportunities as well that you guys will be getting access to in the future. So for all those things that are being put together, I think that we have some great sponsors to work with, and please connect with everybody online and LinkedIn. Thank you so very much to our speakers. Thank you so very much to Eric. We will upload this to the YouTube site in a few minutes. I'm going to turn it over to Danielle to close us off, but if you guys want to stay on and network and talk, we can. I can walk you through the marketplace. I can walk you through the training platform. Remember, we have 1,500 courses for you and your team members. It's absolutely free. You don't have to be a paid member to take advantage of upskilling yourself. We've got this funded. We want to make sure you take advantage of it. And there's no reason why you can't grow and excel as an organization today. Once again, thank you, everybody. Have a great day and have a great weekend. If you want to stay on board to chat or to walk through any programs, I'm here to walk through them with you. So thank you very much. Danielle, can I turn it over to you to close this off?
So I'm just going to close this out. Thank you very much, everybody. I want to be very mindful of everyone's, and we'll make sure we get responses to all the questions that we have. And you guys get connected and go some business. All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.